begun. We're now left with this wet, muddy, soggy field where it's starting to thaw. And there's so much of it to thaw. It's just a mess. I'm on our way to the spray button. It's horrible. I hate it. So cows are all shifted. This end went up to Topcast Court. Middle section has gone across to the silage pit over there, now that it's empty and bedded. So it's now the start of mucking out the shed and getting it ready for calving. So there's still, the youngest calves are still down the bottom there. There's a few, but they'll get sorted out as we get further down. Got the creeps to take out as well, obviously. And then hopefully get the spring cows in off the hill in the next few days. But yeah, fair depth of muck to get carted out now. So get it ready for calving time. So still using the wee wheelbarrows. Haven't got them upgraded yet, but hopefully this year. So Dad's loading me at the moment, and then I'll take it across the road to the field and I'll get it spread in due course. So yeah, it's not ideal because obviously the snow's all melting, but last week it wasn't ideal either because the snow had been insulating the ground, so the ground was never actually frozen. So like all around the close and stuff, we had rain first and then it froze and it was just like a sheet of ice, and then the snow came on top of that. So, but it wasn't like a hard frost we had before that. But it's just like the lying water froze. So it's hard because, you know, ideally we would want like a frost for this to be carrying out, because then it's clean, there's no mess on the road, you don't get stuck, it's just much better. But the snow was like ice insulating the ground, so it never froze either, so it just wouldn't have worked last week because the depth of snow that we had, and also because the snow kept falling on top of the frozen yard, it was really dangerous to move cows, and we didn't want to obviously risk a broken leg. So we're now doing it today. It's not quite so bad because this field is for ploughing, so it's not the end of the world if we make a few tracks, but yeah, it's just there's going to be a mess. But then saying that, there's as much water running, like this, it's just flowing off the fields as you've seen, that it'll keep our wheels nice and clean, so there might actually not be too much mess. It'll just be a mess in the field, but it has to be done. It's one of those things that we need the muck out, and we have no space at the farm to store it, you know, across there with just carting out the shed, so we need to get it in the fields to be able to rejig all the cows. So yeah, it's going to be a busy afternoon making a mess. So we had to do a bit of rejigging, so we just did half the shed today, and then we'll get this half tomorrow. So you can see the heifers that were in this middle section are now across here, and they feed out the front there with the feed trailers, and then the calves get this shed for their creep area. So these young calves I mentioned, they'll be going across there as well tomorrow, but it just takes a bit of rejigging of everyone. So just let these cows back out to eat now. And these cows up this end were in the little shed along with that wee group. So these ones are like the older spring cows or the twins, so I'll just let them out. They'll be joining the heifers, so we'll be going in this end. So I'll just let them out, and then we'll get the rest of the spring cows down and inside, hopefully tomorrow. There is obviously a bull here as well. Fortunately that bull has been injured, so we haven't been using him for the past wee while. We had rested him to see if he would improve, but he hasn't, unfortunately, so his fate is to be determined shortly, so he's just with in-calf cows at the moment, so not doing any harm. So because we're going to have all the cows inside now, we're obviously going to use more silage from the pits. So what we do is we tend to mix a bale of silage with, like, in the mix. So we're splitting up the pit and the bales. So, sorry, my knife's just, blades come out the knife. So yeah, we're splitting up, try and make the pit last a bit longer. We've got heaps of bales to use, so that's what we do from now on. And then obviously the minerals go in as well. So yeah, the spring cows, I'll do a mix for the autumn cows and a mix for the spring cows, just because I obviously won't fit it all in one load, because we'll have, I don't know, over 200 cows to feed. So what I'll do is I'll just split it up between two mixes, and it should work quite well. But yeah, it's fine. We chopped the bales this year, so hoping. We always shake it out as well before it goes in the mixer, so you can just put a bale straight in obviously, but we tend to just shake it out. It's just not as sore on the mixer really, so just shake it out. But this year we actually chopped these first cut bales just to try and make it even easier to shake out, and then, you know, we could just throw them into the mixer really, because it'd be a lot easier on it. So yeah, see how we get on with them this year and see if we do it again next year. Recycling is also overflowing, so we've got a bag of string and bag of nets, and then the trailer full of black plastic. I have phoned the chap that comes to pick it up, but unfortunately he's actually broken his leg, so they're a wee bit under pressure at the moment, obviously with him being off. So you'll just, like I said to him, I said just pop in past whenever you're passing. It's no bother, like we store it in the field anyway, so he can just pick it up whenever. But yeah, not good. You'll have to forgive the angle, sorry. It's just the only holder thing we've got in the loader. So just a way to try out this bale and see what like it is. Give it a wee shake out, pop it in. But I should say for the recycling, we have to get it picked up by someone that will recycle it properly, and then we have to have proof that we've done that. So we get a bit of paper that says, you know, whoever collected it on such and such a date, and they collected black wrap string, empty spray containers, stuff like that. So we have to be able to prove that we have got rid of it safely. So just shaking this bale out now, you can see it's breaking up quite nicely. Although it's chopped, I would say that we could probably have done with it being a bit more chopped. I don't know how many knives were in the baler, but I just don't think there was enough. But anyway, it's a bit of trial and error this year. We'll figure out if we like it or not. So, just put a wee bit of this in. You see the silage pit there, it starts going smaller and smaller as we go further back. So she's not as full as what she should be, but it is what it is. And yes, I know my windscreen needs a wash. Today it's gotten clarted and the window scoosher things, whatever they're called, aren't working. Or the thing's empty, one of the two. This is the cows, as I mentioned, from the middle section. So we've got bales up at the back there just to give them a bit of shelter, a bit of protection. And then there's a water trough there you can just see. And then obviously they come out here to eat. We can shut them back, that's a gate there. that goes across and shuts them back for bedding, and then we'll scrape out the bit where they're standing every day if it needs it, or every second day. We have got a full house now in the top cattle court. So we added a few more, as I mentioned, to split up the lots to get the spring cows in. So top shed is now nice and cosy. Obviously bulls are still in, so they'll be taking up sort of a cow and a half, 2 cow space. But they can still all get about to eat, obviously. Calves as well, you can see them here. So got a few more calves up as well, obviously. So I think we would be probably about 34, 35 I think each side. So obviously it's still, you know, they're not squeezed tight, there's still room. And as I say, they're all in about eating, so it's fine. Just have to make sure that I need to give them a wee bit more now, obviously, because there's more cows up here. So yeah, but they all seem happy enough, settled into their new accommodation, the ones that moved, and worked out a pecking order. So all is good. Of course, there is one cow that has very naughtily snuck in through the calf creep. So she's obviously not meant to be in here, but she's managed to squeeze her way through that gap. You can see she's lifted the bar at one side, so I need to lower the bar slightly, put her back through because she's not meant to be in here. Are you, lass? So otherwise all good. Some of you might remember actually this calf. This was the calf that was a Caesar, so you can tell he's a chunky boy still, a wee bit bigger than some of them. But he's thriving well, and his mother's doing fine as well. She's fully recovered now, so that's all good. And we are all mucked out. So ready to get the different gates in. So a big gate, that gate there, will go back on. And then this was the creep gate here, but we'll now put on just a normal plain gate for calving. And then we'll get these cows to go across the silage pit and get the spring cows down off the hill, and the heifers in as well. So heifers will go at this far end, cows in this middle section here, and then cows in this end as well. So yeah, let's get all the cows inside. So currently just in the top shed feeding the autumn cows here. So just feeding all the cows at the farm first before we, well, wait for daylight to come up, and then we shall go and gather the spring cows off the hill and the heifers off the other hill and get them down to the farm. What happens is the heifers stay as a batch, they go on one end, and the cows just sort of get split pretty much half and half. Not quite half and half, the middle section gets more because it's slightly bigger, but we pretty much just count a few through, shut the gate. We don't batch them up in age groups due to calves, stuff like that. So yeah, that is the plan. First I need to feed these cows. I then need to do a mix for the weaned calves across the road in the lambing shed because they're nearly out of, and then I need to do a mix for the other autumn cows in the silage pit, and then a mix for the spring cows when they come in. So yeah, a few different mixes to do this morning, just the way it's landed, but it won't take long. These chop bales will soon fly through it, so it'll be fine. I'm just keeping an eye because there's more cows up here now. You have to put out more silage for them, obviously, because there's another 16 cows we put up here. So yeah, just making sure that I give them enough, but I also don't put out too much because I still need to do the other side. So it's a bit of a trial and error. If I really wanted to, I could work out, you know, how much I should have left in each bay, but there's no fun in that, I just wing it. So now on to the weaned calves across in the lambing shed. just putting out their mix. We have upped the barley and the protein obviously as well to keep them going, push them on a wee bit as sale day is fast approaching. They will be getting sold start of February. So can you see a difference in them? I see them every day, so I don't see huge changes in them. I do think they've filled out a good bit, but let me know what you think. So this is the heifers first up this end. Then we have the stocks here. So the way it's worked out, there is slightly more heifers than there is stocks, but that doesn't matter. They're all growing and healthy, which is the main thing. While I was feeding those calves in the lambing shed, Dad and the cattleman went to get the heifers in first. So this is all our in-calf spring heifers. So you've got some big bellies on them there, so they're coming inside first to go up the far end of the calving shed. Obviously a wee bit more wary as they're unsure as where they're going. They've not been in here for calving before. They've only been in at the farm for a short period of time when they arrived home, and then outside again. So this is their first real time of walking around the farm basically. So we'll get them in, get them settled, walk through them at least 3 times a day just now, obviously more during calving, and they'll soon get used to us. And quite often when you walk through the shed to check the cows, you have to step around the cows because they're so used to you walking through, they just don't move. When we have these cows, well these heifers held and spring cows for TB testing, they will get their tails clipped because they are very untidy looking at the moment. So we'll get them all tidied up, ready for calving. Heifers all in, now time for the cows to come off the hill. So they know the drill, as you can see, they know their way off. Trailers are empty, they are ready for in. With the snow in November and now the snow back in December, January there, we managed to get away without too much damage to the ground. But as you can see here, since it started to thaw, because the ground is so saturated, these heavily pregnant cows don't take long in making a wee bit of a mess. So we now have space to get them inside, take them off the ground and protect the ground as much as we can going forward. Why have you shut the gate, you donuts? Not good that the ground is so soft, because they know what's happening, they know they're coming inside, and then they start to run and make an absolute mess of the grass, as you can see. better if they just take their time. They know the score, so they know where they're going. So it is a bit of a distance for these girls to be walking, so we just give them plenty of time. We don't rush them. We just let them work away at their own pace, because as I mentioned, they are very heavily in calf now, so they've got a lot of precious cargo on board. Right, it is time to do the first mix of the winter for the spring calving cows. So I've got it in over here, freshly mixed. Now that they are all in the shed, patiently waiting for me here. So heifers are up this end, and then cows in the middle the far two sections. So let's get it dished out to them. The heifers are mesmerised by this. Takes me a wee minute just to figure out what's going on, but they soon cotton on that this is their food and this is how it gets dished out. So they start filtering out by themselves, which is fine. No pushing and shoving. Meanwhile, the cows know exactly what's going on, and they are patiently waiting and joining on as they wake up from their sleep after their long walk. So this is the heifers at this end. This will be the first time calving these heifers that we have locally sourced, as opposed to buying them out of south of Ireland. And then we've obviously got a few cows, so a couple of cows there just to make up numbers. That's a twin. And then this is just more cows, just split pretty much 50-50. Just as they've run through, we've just counted them through and shut the gate. So just all out enjoying their breakfast. So as well as the sheep, you see their cows have got lifeline buckets too. So giving them sort of 6 weeks out from calving. So these girls are just on straw silage mix with minerals at the moment. Bit happy with how they're looking after being wintered on the hill. So it's really nice to have all the cows down at the farm now, have a shed full of dry cows here, be able to keep an eye on them and know that they're all okay, they're all here, and yeah, it's just nice, it's handy, they're all here, so it's fine, easy for feeding. But it does obviously mean that calving is not far away now. Are we going to have a calf or a lamb first? This is always the question. Texels are due start of February, and I think there's one heifer due on the 4th of February. So who's going to go first? The competition begins. So our annual TB test is coming up, which is obviously a very nerve-wracking time. So currently I'm going through the official paperwork here. So it's 27 pages of tag numbers that I have to work through. I have to go through every tag number and write the management number beside it, because obviously we shout out the management number on the day, and as the vet's measuring and jabbing, then I can find it much quicker than trying to look through all their official tags. So I'm spending time now going through, and you can see the list of their tags, and then I'm putting the managements down the side. Now this is the official paperwork, so it has to be recorded on this document. So yeah, I've got 200 odd cow tags to find in amongst 200 calf tags that I don't need. So I think it's anything above 2-year-old has to get tested. So yeah, currently working through that. It is a nightmare. It's very, very time consuming, but it's just something that has to be done. And it does save a bit of time actually on the testing day. As I say, you know, we just call out the management number and I can find it much quicker. But yeah, it's plugging in every long number into HerdWatch to get their managements is time consuming. But so I think that's it for this video. Now, I have had a couple folk asking how this little rascal is. Hey Tara. So she is doing absolutely fine, as you can see. Her leg, give me your leg. Let me see. Good girl. Her leg is totally healed. You can't even see what it was now. So we are all good. And she is ready to get back to work. Aren't you? Rascal. Come on. So yeah, they're all just enjoying a quieter winter at the moment. Just got them out, stretched their legs for a wee while this afternoon. So I think that's it for this one. Thank you as always for watching, and please, if you have any questions, want to see anything more, please do just pop a comment below, and I will do my best to try and cover everything that everyone's interested in. Thank you as always for watching and all the support. Hope you have a lovely weekend. We'll see you for the next one.